Before we get started with the unboxing, big shout out to our friends over at Squarespace for sponsoring this video. OMG BBG! What's up BBGs? Welcome back to another unboxing video. Today we have QuadDrive goods and this is Roar Balkesh B7. Ooh. So one of the strongest defense types that released in Beyblade vs. DB gets its QuadDrive makeover here, and honestly I am afraid. What did they do to my boy Balkesh? The Takara Tomy version has become one of my most favorite DB releases just because of how strong it was. Obviously, its defense abilities were just insane. You could take on so many combos.
Yeah, you were saying it's like super underrated, right?
It was underrated when it first came out, but now I feel like everyone loves it. But that's just me, like maybe I'm wrong. So a shortcut of getting a Roar Bahamut is getting a Roar Balkesh, except this may not be as good. Hopefully it's half decent. We will find out very shortly here. So let's take a look at the back of the box.
It's your QuadDrive system, Beys, so not your DB Takara Tomy gimmicks. Don't expect that.
Yep. The only gimmick that you do get is the 4-in-1 ways to play. Actually, that's not Takara Tomy at all. You get the Apex mode and you get the core mode, which is high mode, low mode. So you get to keep that. But we do get that transforming tip, basically, with the armor tip function. So you can change the performance of it just by removing some of those parts, which is pretty cool. So once again, this is a left spin defense type. You got Roar Balkesh, you get the G10 armor, and then we get the QD02 disc, which is the Giga disc, which is a really good disc. But remember, Hasbro has nerfed it a little bit. TS21-Q driver and the D03 armor tip. So that is our driver combo right there. Stats, obviously the defense is through the roof. We got 12 there.
Well, regardless of how much gimmicks is taken out, it's still a pretty circular base, so it should fare pretty good against the other QuadDrive base.
That's exactly my thoughts as well. I was figuring that this was probably going to be a pretty decent release either way, even if it is super nerfed. Let's hope that we are right. So right before we open up this starter pack from the QuadDrive series, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications so you don't miss the next video. You can find us on Instagram at Geek Dosage and on TikTok at BeybladeGeeks Official.
Original colors, let's go.
Yeah, it's nice. At least it's not an ugly recolor. Wow, massive tip. Holy. Okay, our disc, wax paper with the energy layer in it. All right, very plasticky. Doesn't feel heavy like the Takara Tomy version, obviously, but at least the colors are fairly accurate.
And same shape, very circular.
It's round, which is good. All right, here are all the parts. So at least with QuadDrive, it feels like you have a ton of parts to customize with. Let's dive into the drive chip. So the Bahamut face still looks similar, which is nice. It is missing some of the color details though. You get a little bit of that light blue / teal color. And at least I like that they kept the pink around the edges there, like around the perimeter of the drive chip.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, the colors look very Takara Tomy. It actually looks really high quality from afar.
Yeah, I have to give them props. They did the purple really well. You know, it's not bad. It's not a bad looking bay. The drive chip or the DB core from Takara Tomy though has rubber. This does not have that. So no rubber there to help you with your burst resistance. This is purely the typical stuff coming from Hasbro. You just get your slopes. Moving on over to the Roar energy layer base. This also doesn't have those gimmicks anymore. There is supposed to be like a subframe on the back side of the energy layer base where the disc, when it makes contact with it, it makes this energy layer base even more round, basically activating these wings to make it more circular. So none of that here, which is really sad because that is what made Roar Bahamut so good. It just transforms to an even rounder bay in battle. To make up for it, it seems like Hasbro made the shape of this energy layer base similar to Takara Tomy's activated form. You'll notice that on the purple sides there's like two small little purple wings that I think is supposed to represent the teal blades coming out of the Takara Tomy version. And even where it's not purple, like on the two other ends where it's just black, it does look like it has a couple of wings there that represent that activation. Theoretically, this one looks like it's already in its activated form, so it's supposedly rounder already. But of course, we like to have those activations, right? Moving on to the gravity ring, we have 10. This is of course not metal. They just retain the overall cosmetic, so it still has the same amount of points and everything like that. You can basically substitute out with like pretty much anything. At least they kept the shape the same. It does look like a 10 armor. Now the part that's going to add all the weight to your Hasbro combo is this disc. This is the Giga Disc Hasbro version. It is still fairly heavy, but it is nerfed a little bit. The Giga Disc will still be a good addition to your combos, especially if you battle with Hasbro stuff. So don't sleep on this disc.
What you should sleep on is the performance tip.
Yeah, the performance tip is very disappointing. So you'll notice right away that the armor tip represents the shape of the moment driver, but of course it does not swivel whatsoever. You do not have a free spinning ball. You essentially just have a ball tip in the center and it's surrounded by a round plastic wall. So it's a pretty typical defense driver in this state. It's not special whatsoever. If you remove this armor tip and you use just the performance tip by itself, you get the edge driver.
Oh my god, that's even worse.
Oh my god, it's so old and it's such a trash driver too. It's just so bad. So I would honestly keep the armor tip on all the time, in my opinion. Like, I would probably battle like that. The edge tip is just so trash. It's so old. It can get knocked over and everything, and it's such a small surface area, so it's tough to use for sure. I would just keep the armor tip on.
So we talked a lot about like all the bad pieces of this release, but the good thing about this is actually you're able to get the Roar Bahamut design without having to buy random boosters. So you don't have to spend $100 just to get the prize Bey. You might be able to just pick this one up from Hasbro and have a semi-Roar Bahamut looking Bey.
Yeah, and we haven't battled with it yet, but I'm predicting this one to still be pretty good in terms of, you know, the QuadDrive world. So yeah, it's looking pretty round. You get that Giga Disc. It might not be that bad. So we're gonna put this into core mode.
Which is AKA low mode.
Low mode. I still think that this is like definitely the inferior way of putting the Bey together, having to clip it, but whatever. And then we put in our gravity ring.
Yeah, you'll put it beside the Roar Bahamut.
A little plain.
Yeah, but still overall looks
not
decent,
bad. Not bad.
But flip it the other side.
This is where all the sadness begins.
You can see all the hollow parts from Hasbro.
Yeah, no rubber from the core there, obviously. No subframe there with the wings that you can activate. Giga Disc. Nerfed version, don't forget. Our performance tip. That's it.
That's your Beyblade's QuadDrive Bey.
Roar Balkesh. I still think it's gonna be pretty good compared to other ones. Look at that.
Honestly, super round too, so.
Yeah. That's kind of cool, I guess. We could weigh it if we want. We know it's gonna be light.
Roar Balkesh weighs 46.01 grams.
Alright. Now compare that to the weights that you guys know for all the other Beys. Is that heavy? Is it light? It's nothing special when you compare it to
average for QuadDrive.
So here's Roar Balkesh in the game, looking pretty snazzy. Yeah, not too bad. Remember that your your energy layer can still be customized in core and apex mode.
Yeah.
So you can rotate with this button.
4 ways to play.
And same with your armor tip. Your armor tip can also be customized. You can change the performance tip, you can change the armor tip however way you wish.
Just like how you can in real life.
Yep, so not too bad overall. Like, the function in the game is pretty cool. Alright, test battle. 3, 2, 1.
Look at that defense.
Roar Balkesh looks so big.
Yeah.
The energy layer actually looks really wide. It was so solid. I'm telling you, this Bey is still gonna be good in the QuadDrive world. Being last minute does feel a little extra special too, which is nice.
Okay.
Oh my god, a title? So we equalized.
3, 2, 1.
Oh goodness, we're gonna equalize again. But yeah, look how solid Roar Balkesh is. I still think this is probably one of those ones that you should pick up. Obviously, QuadDrive is not going to be same as Takara Tomy releases, but in the QuadDrive world, I think that this one should be a pickup. It just looks good, and you know, it's not too bad.
Super circular.
It's not getting bursted and stuff like that.
Yep, it won briefly. Valtryek is next. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, look at me move! That felt like the moment driver for a bit there.
This is such an unfair battle as well, because I'm using a string launcher.
Oh yeah, true. You got more power than I do for sure.
Yo, look at that.
Yo, let's go. So that's our unboxing on Roar Balkesh B7. Let us know what you guys think of this bay. I think overall, it is probably one of those QuadDrive bays that you want to pick up. I mean, it is very round, it's less spin, so in the QuadDrive world, this is a pretty decent pickup. You don't have to buy a random booster, so that is definitely a big positive.
Easy way to get Bahamut.
And right before we sign off, we want to thank our friends over at Squarespace for sponsoring this video and for continuing to support this channel.
Squarespace gives people a powerful and beautiful online platform from which to create your website. Connect with your audience and generate revenue through gated, members-only content, manage your members, send email communications, and leverage audience insights, all on one easy-to-use platform. Create a community on your Squarespace website with a fully integrated commenting system that supports threaded comments, replies, and likes. Use their powerful blogging tools to categorize, share, and schedule your posts too.
With that said, head on over to squarespace.com for a free trial, and once you're ready to launch, use squarespace.com/BeybladeGeeks for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Alright, remember to like this video, subscribe, and let us know what you want to see next, okay? As always, geeks out!